that Rene Lalique is an artist like Picasso, Monet, Modigliani, Renoir.
Yes.
And it's the only example among the French brands of the success of an artist who became an industrial. Rene Lalique was probably one of the most important artists in the world from the period of Art Nouveau and Art Deco. In fact, he had two different activities. The first one was jewelry. The second one was glass maker during the Art Deco period, 1909 until 1945. He came to the glass activities by accident. He was a close friend of Mr. Coty, who was the inventor of the modern perfumery. He asked to Mr. Lalique if it could be possible for him to design a perfume bottle. And this bottle was a big event because for the first time the bottle was expressing the fragrance inside the bottle. This bottle was such a success, maybe also due to the perfume, that everybody wished to work with Rene Lalique. And Rene Lalique has designed about 400 different models of scent bottles, and today people are collecting those antique scent bottles. And there was an auction, and one bottle was sold 2 million of French francs. He started his life with the jewelry. After to have studied in England during 2 years, between the age of 16 and 18, when he came back to France, he started to design for people like Cartier or Boucheron. But immediately he felt that those brands were not prepared to the modernity of his vision of the jewelry. He was very inspired by the Japanese, by the nature, and especially by what I will call the insects. For instance, dragonfly, carabs, and he created what we call a phantasmagoric world. He discovered the glass in this jewelry before, because he was working with what we call cristal de roche, and step by step he replaced the cristal de roche by glass, demonstrating that it's not necessary to have precious stones or materials, that the artistic feeling is more important than the materials. I spent a large part of my life into the fashion activities with Charles Jourdan, working with people like Karl Lagerfeld. He spent 7 years with me.
So you've seen basically the luxury business over the last 30 years.
Yeah, I will say I am a good witness, you say?
Witness,
of
yes.
This time. Because I work also with people like Castelbajac, Montana, Thierry Mugler. There was 3 generations of Lalique. From 1880, I will say, when Rene Lalique started, until 1994. When I came into the company, Rene Lalique was only involved into the crystal activity. It was a very famous brand, but for jet set people, not really known for the mass public. And I was totally affected by that, because I knew everything about Lalique, and I was surprised that people has forgotten that he was the biggest jewelry creator, and that he has designed the fountains of the Rond-Point des Champs-Élysées, that he has decorated the Orient Express train, the Normandy boat, but also some buildings like the Coty building in Fifth Avenue,
yes,
with today the Henri Bendel shop, the Obiad building in Los Angeles, the palace of the Prince Asaka in Tokyo, and some church in Jersey or in France, and people has forgotten that. I decided to reveal this world, and I started to relaunch the fancy jewelry.
When was this?
In 1988, I decided to launch the perfume because we have created so many bottles that one day we wish to fill up our own bottles, you know?
Sure.
I remember that Lalique has worked with the fashion world, especially with Poiret, who was one of the most important French couturiers at the beginning of the century. And Rene Lalique has designed bags, scarves, belts.
He did this?
Yeah, he did that.
Oh, so these are actually from historical drawings?
Yeah, and in fact today I said, if we want to go forward, the crystal activity is a small activity. You have to come back to the roots of the founder. And I revealed the new world of Lalique, who was existing 1 century ago and who was forgotten. In fact, I did not launch any line who was not touched by our founder.